We are making crockpot Italian wedding soup. This soup recipe is so delicious and so easy to make thanks to the crockpot. If you haven't tried Italian wedding soup yet, it's really good. It's packed full of lots of veggies, meatballs, delicious. I had no clue why it's called Italian wedding soup, so I had to look it up. I guess the translation means marrying of the flavors. So we've morphed it into Italian wedding soup. But this soup is so fancy, you can even serve it at a wedding. Hi, my name is Christina. I'm with eatingonadime.com, and this month, every single day, we are doing a new crockpot recipe. It's so fun. We call it Crocktober. And actually, you can get a new crockpot recipe sent to your email every single day for free with our Crocktober series. I have linked that in the description below. So if you want to sign up and get those, make sure you check that out. And this year, we are added one more item. We have put all of our favorite Crocktober recipes in a digital cookbook, and we are offering it at a highly discounted rate. I have linked that in the description below for you as well. So for today's recipe, I am using a 6-quart crock pot. This is a great one. We have linked it in the description below with all of our favorite crock pots and our favorite multi-cookers. So if you're in the market for a new one, check it out. With most of our soup recipes, we do recommend a minimum of a 6-quart crock pot just so it will hold all the ingredients. Also today, I am using pre-made frozen chicken meatballs because you guys know that we are all about quick, easy, time saving. So for this delicious soup recipe, pre-made meatballs work great. Now, if you want to make your own, all power to you. You can make your own and use them in this soup recipe. We have a lot of great homemade meatball recipes as well that you can find at eatingonadime.com. The reason we love crockpot cooking so much is because it's literally set it and forget it, and this recipe is no different. It's one of our favorite dump and go recipes, which means you just dump everything in the crockpot, turn it on, and walk away. So let's get started. First, we're gonna take the 24-ounce pack of frozen chicken meatballs and place that right in the crockpot. Now, I didn't say before, but if you cannot find the chicken ones, it's fine to use turkey or you can use beef. The chicken is the more authentic flavor for this soup, but the other two will still be delicious and taste great. Then we're gonna add the rest of our veggies. This is a very delicious veggie packed soup. It adds so much flavor, so don't skip these veggies. First up, we have about 1/4 of an onion finely diced. When we talk about our veggies for soup, you want to dice your vegetables small enough to be able to fit on a spoon, because when you're eating it, you're always using a spoon, and you don't want like a big chunks where nothing fits on the spoon. Now we're going to add celery and carrots. First up is 2, I call these rims of the celery, not sure if that's the right word. Let me know what the right word is below. I like to run my knife down the center to cut it in half lengthwise and then dice it up. I've already cut off the discolored portions to make sure we have the delicious edible portion of the celery. So I just slice the rims and then I hold them together and we just dice them up from there. Once it's all diced up, just go ahead and dump it right in the crock pot. And then we're gonna do the carrots. For this one, we are doing 3 carrots peeled and diced. Again, small enough to fit on your spoon. Remember that when you're dicing these veggies for your soup recipe. Small enough to fit on a spoon. On the carrots, I usually cut it in half lengthwise, and then I cut it in half again to make sure they're small enough. So I guess it's 1/4 lengthwise, and that works great. So 1/4 them up and then dice away. So once it's all diced up, I even go through and just look for big chunks, and then I will just cut them if I see them, just to make sure. I just do not want a big chunk in my soup. That's just me me specifically. Okay, let's talk about my knife skills. You guys, I am not a chef, so if you have comments on my knife skills, remember, I'm just cooking at home for my family. Thank you. Okay, carrots right into the crock pot. Now, we gotta make this taste good. And if you guess garlic, you're right. We're gonna add some minced garlic. Again, I did not mince my own because we are all about quick and easy, just like those meatballs. We love using the store-bought minced garlic that we keep in the refrigerator. Perfect. Add it right to the crock pot. And then we're going to add a little thyme. Thyme is on my side. Yes, it is. A half a teaspoon of thyme dumped right in. And now it's time to add our chicken broth. So most of our recipes, we say chicken broth, water interchangeable, except on our soups. We highly recommend that you use the chicken broth because it adds a ton of flavor. On this recipe, we are using 8 cups, which is 2 of these containers of chicken broth. The reason we're using so much is this does have an Orzo pasta in it that gets cooked in the crock pot, and it's gonna soak up a lot of that chicken broth. So you need quite a bit. If you were going to switch to the bouillon cubes, the packages, I would still recommend using at least one of these and then subbing the other one with the bouillon cubes and the water, just to make sure you're still getting that rich broth flavor for your soup. Don't mind the puppy sounds. If you guys haven't heard, my sister and I both have puppies, so you may hear their cute little barks or growls in the background. All right, back to cooking. We have done all the dumping part of the dump and go, and so now is my favorite part, which is the go. So before we go, we got to turn it on. Don't forget this step. Cover your crock pot. You can cook this on low or on high. If you cook it on low, it's just going to take about 6 to 7 hours. You're just wanting all those veggies to be tender and the meatballs to be heated through because they are pre-cooked meatballs. If you do it on high, it's just going to take about 3 to 4 hours and it will be perfect. Okay, I will see you in a few hours. Time for my favorite part, the go. All right, I am back. Okay, so it's been cooking for a while and now it's time to stir in our pasta and our spinach. You don't want to put this in at the beginning because it's going to turn to mush. So we just put this in for the end of the cook time. So let's start with our pasta. So for this soup, it is Orzo. If you have not had Orzo yet, it's really fun. It looks like rice, but it's actually little pastas. It's so cute and it cooks great in the crock pots. We are going to do a cup and a half. Ooh, look at that. It's cooking good. A cup and a half of Orzo right into the crock pot. So the trick with cooking pasta in the crock pot is making sure that it's submerged in the liquid. Since this is a soup, we don't have to worry about it too much, but for future reference, if you have a casserole, make sure to push it down because you want it to be completely submerged. I'm going to go ahead and cover this while I get my spinach ready. Spinach is a must for this soup. It adds so much flavor and it gives it that Italian flair that we all love. We are using 4 cups because if you guys have cooked with spinach before, you know it cooks down to practically nothing, but it's a soup. So we're going to chop this up before adding it to the crock pot. I am just using fresh spinach leaves. That works best over the frozen. And we're just going to give this a rough chop before we throw it in the crock pot. I just find it's best to use a big old knife and just chop it away to make it smaller pieces so that it will be easy to fit on our spoon in our soup. All right, the spinach is all chopped up. Even my sister was making fun of my knife skills, so it must be bad. Again, you don't have to be a chef to make this recipe. It's in the crock pot. It's very forgiving. We are going to stir all this spinach in. I add it with the Orzo so that it'll get nice and tender and the spinach will get nice and wilted as that Orzo cooks. stir it completely in. Then we are going to cover this and cook it on low for about 20 to 30 minutes. You're just wanting that orzo to get cooked through. You can kick it up to high, but honestly, I just keep it on low and it works great every single time. I don't think that it's enough time for it to actually get to a high setting since there's so much liquid. So we're just gonna keep this on low, let that orzo cook through, and then our soup will be ready to serve. I will see you in about 20 minutes. It's been cooking for about 30 minutes. You will know that it's done because the spinach, it's more of like a muted green color when it gets cooked and wilted through. And then I always just like to taste test a little bit of the pasta to make sure it's to the tenderness that I like. Perfect. And you will see, I'm gonna do a close-up next, but you will see that it does soak up a lot of that liquid. So it's still soupy, but it's not as soupy as before because that pasta's cooked through and it soaked it all up. All right, this is ready to serve and enjoy. Let's talk about how to serve this soup. This soup is very filling and it has lots of veggies in it with the spinach and the carrots and then the meatballs. It's really truly a one-pot meal. When I serve this at home, I usually just serve with like a fun bread side because I love soup and bread. We have some homemade garlic bread on eatingonadime.com. That's awesome. Or you could just do your favorite French bread, whatever you love. You can do some homemade dinner rolls. That would be great as well. You don't need a lot. This is great for a nice fall day and I cannot wait to try it. Dinner is done and ready to enjoy. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in my sister's kitchen. I hope I inspired you to make dinner at home in your crock pot. Don't forget, we are doing crock pot recipes all month long, so make sure that you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of our crock pot recipes. If you are loving slow cooking as much as Carrie and I do, you're gonna love all of Crocktober because that's all we're doing, crock pot cooking all month long. Blah, can't talk today. All right, also I have linked today's recipe, crock pot Italian wedding soup, in the description below. You can also sign up for that email series or you can get our digital cookbook that's on major sale this month as well. So make sure you check those out. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me and I'll see you next time for another delicious crock pot recipe. That bowl is warm, but I cannot wait to try this. Bye, friends.